And we are live. Hello. It has been so long since I've done an actual live solo that is focused on what I typically focus on, which is mental health awareness, self-love and care, mindfulness, standing in your power, and so much more. But today we're focusing on mindfulness. Yes, because it's such a great thing to look at yourself, isn't it? Okay, so have you ever been in the space of nothing is working? Yeah, go ahead, drop it in, raise your hand. Nothing's working. Everyone is against me. Who's been there? Everyone hates me. I don't know why everyone hates me. Oh God, Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm sure we've all been there, right? So guys, energy out is energy back. So it is so important to realize who you're being and how you're showing up for others. I'm going to say that again. Who you're being and how you're showing up for others. Is it okay if I give y'all an example? Yes? Give me some thumbs up, some likes. All right. So I was divorced. I got divorced. When did I get divorced? I don't know. Sometime in 2016. And my ex and I made a promise to each other. Our promise was that no matter what happened in our relationship, that we would be there as friends for another, that we would be there as co-parents, and that we would raise our kids together. Can you guess what happened? It was like World War III between the two of us, and it was just continual butting heads. This is not who we promised we would be for another. It's not who we promised we would be for our kids. With that being said, if anyone who lives in Illinois knows that they encourage you to be co-parents and you have to go through mandated family counseling most of the time. So we went through the mandated family counseling portion. I had my counselor, he had his counselor, the kids had their counselor, and then we came together once or twice and we had this thing called a baton. It was actually pretty fun, where only the person with the stick could talk. But even in that moment, we could not even speak to each other without being dicks to each other. And that was both of us. That was me too. I was not a pleasant person then. And one day I couldn't stop crying. I had this elephant on my chest and my anxiety levels were through the roof. And many of you know I already have anxiety as it is. So going through a divorce with battling parents who are not committed to doing what's best for each other and doing what's best for your kids is not a good situation. So one time I had my session and told my counselor, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't even breathe at night. I'm crying myself to sleep. I cannot do this. This is not who we promised we would be for each other. This is not who we promised we would be for our children. So my counselor encouraged me to write a letter. And so I did. And I told her I wanted to give it to him. So I wrote a letter. I stepped out of the situation and really looked at who I was being and was I honoring my part of the deal? Or was I adding to the stress and anxiety on all parties? So I removed myself from the situation and I wrote a letter to my ex-husband telling him everything I appreciated about him as a father, everything I appreciated about him as a partner, and everything I appreciated about him as a friend. And within our 13-year marriage, things that he stuck beside me with, things that, you go through a lot in 13 years, family deaths, celebrations, things of that nature. It wasn't until I stepped out of who I was being and presented him with everything I appreciated about him that our dynamic changed almost instantly. Now, mind you, I had the sweaty palms. I think I had more of an elephant on my chest after giving him the letter than actually, going through it. But it was such a relief just getting it out there, no matter how he responded, because then I knew that I did my part to try and make amends. About a week later, I get a text message saying, hey, I just want you to know I got your letter and I've read it at least 5 to 7 times, flipping it back and forth just to make sure this is you speaking. And he thanked me for the letter that I had given him. And almost instantaneously, our relationship dynamic had changed in those moments. Now, it took time to get over, the various things in a divorce that you have to do. But in that moment, we started to morph into the co-parents that we had always agreed to be for another. But in order for that would have never, ever happened had I not removed myself from the situation and really genuinely looked at who I was being and how I was showing up. I'm sure for him, I was showing up as like this huge B word. But for me, I was seeing it as protecting my kids. There's always three sides to a story. There's his side, her side, and then there's the truth, because we all experience a different viewpoint. No viewpoint's ever the same. So in being mindful in who I was being, I shifted the dynamic of our relationship, and now we're great co-parents even from 1,000 miles away. Mindfulness, as described by dictionary.com, is a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, bodily sensations, don't go naughty on me, used as a therapeutic technique. So I'm going to repeat that. A mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moment while calmly is the key word there, acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. There are so many that get caught up in what's going on, or single parents who get caught up in the he said, she said, and relationships who do the blame game, and friendships who do the blame game, or someone's talking behind someone, and then people wonder why there's so much drama. Who are you being, and how are you showing up for others? Are you the friend someone's confiding in you, and then you go and tell, girl, you will not believe what so-and-so just said to me, and then you're creating this perpetual cycle, and then you wonder why there's drama in your life. That's not how it works. You have to step back, realize who you're being, transition your thought process, and say, you know what, maybe I'm not being the best individual or the best friend or the best partner or the best co-parent right now. Maybe we need to sit down and have a conversation. But first, I need to rectify who I'm being and be true to myself and my true being. So I challenge everyone tonight, everyone who's, having relationship issues, everyone who's having baby mama, baby daddy drama. Like, I don't even like that term. And my daughter said it the other day and it pissed me off, because I'm not a baby mama. I raised children. I was married to the individual. We co-created together. Y'all love that person enough to create with them. Y'all better love them enough to be parents with them, and get it together, because the kids are watching. Okay? That's all I gotta say. Get it together. But I challenge you, remove yourself from whatever situation and whatever is going on, and really see who you're being and how you're showing up in this situation. And then change the dynamic of it. We all have the power to change our own world and our own dynamic. So write out what's bothering you. Write out how you want to replace it and how you want that to go. If you're having conflict with your mom or your dad, tomorrow is not guaranteed, especially in these days. Write out what you appreciate to them. Everyone should be in a moment of appreciation now. Once you can realize who you're being and how you're showing up for others, and you can acknowledge that, and you can write a letter or vocally speak it, guys, I'm telling you, the relationship dynamic changes no matter who it's with. But you have to look at number one first, and that's yourself. So if you want some more tips on mindfulness, I will be here, just not tonight, because it is mommy son night. My older two are off with their godparents, and I got my baby. So I will be on daily from now on to give you guys tips, techniques, tools for mental health, mental wellness, self-care, self-love, appreciation, all types of fun stuff. So if you have anything you want to know about, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll add it to the list. But for tonight, good evening. I love y'all, and have a beautiful, beautiful night with your family and your loved ones and your friends. Mwah! There's my dog.